Hey, what's up, everybody? Endless here. Bringing you another game of Star Wars Legion here on the Avon Base stream. We're going to be watching a game between Degree and Timbo. Playing on Scum and Villainy, the map that everybody would play in this first round of Ladder League single eliminations. What's up, everybody? So yeah, today we got two clone armies facing off against each other. We've got, let's see, we got Timbo here in blue, rocking the Aayla Saber, which is something we haven't seen lately, but now is starting to be popular, gaining some popularity, because you can now run Field Commander tanks as your list's commander. So Aayla in the Saber is equivalent to the general here of her team. So you got Aayla in the Saber, you got the link targeting array, armor piercing shells, and twin laser turret. So with Arsenal 2 could be some pretty nasty firepower here at range 3. That is 9 dice at range 3 with critical 2 and no need to reload. So this Saber tank is going to be looking to engage at range 3, can get there pretty easily with rollout, and that's exactly what Timbo's going to do. And in fact, this looks legal to me. It is 45 degrees. The Saber can start up there. I don't think it can start on the ground and get up there, but I think it can start up there because that is a legal deployment. A legal deployment is what I'm trying to say. Accompanying the Aayla tank is Padme Amidala with no upgrades. So Exemplar really strong since it lets the tank take standby attacks and she can pass tokens to it with Exemplar. R2 and 3PO, of course, really strong because any tokens they put on Padme can give to anybody else. You've also got Echo, or sorry, not Echo, but Fives here in a Phase 2 squad with situational awareness. A Z6 Phase 2 also with situational awareness for that sweet dodge sharing. Phase 1 Clone Troopers, just some activation padding, maybe some extra actions. You've also got 3 sets of Arc Strike teams. One with Echo for that extra wound, and Reliable, which is super strong on Arc Troopers, as everybody who's played Legion for any length of time now knows that Impervious on red dice with Surge is really nasty to deal with. Then you've got 2 Arc Strikes, just standard kind of Arc Strikes with DC-15Xs. Timbo's list coming in at 780 points, which is just a crazy high bid as well. Kind of wants this bid because he's focusing on the Aayla tank and Padme, who potentially has secret mission. I'm not sure why there's an objective token here. The objective is payload. So both payloads have to move across the map. I'm trying to figure out where the payloads are destined. Is there a timer? I do not know. Hey, good morning, GM Smithers. How's it going, dude? Captain Cook 68 checking in. What's up? Happy Saturday. Players are now saying to me they're going to agree to a timer because the game is being streamed, which is super respectful. So massive props to them for agreeing to a timer. We'll take a look at the battle cards for round 1. It is Diplomatic Cover not being divulged. So Padme is going to gain Reliable 1. And it looks like Degree with his triple BARCs playing Assault here. But Timbo getting the priority. That Surge token should be extra spicy on Padme. Just more surges basically. So Padme and the 2 Phase 2s and Echo will all have surges natively, so it basically amounts to aggressive tactics, kind of just baked into the list, which is super awesome. Meanwhile, you've got Captain Rex on Degree's side of the board. You've got 5s with a Specialist, which is pretty interesting. Specialist with an extra wound, can exhaust to gain an aim, dodge, or surge. You've also got Captain Rex here with aggressive tactics and recon intel. 2 sets of Z6 Phase 2 Clone Troopers, both with offensive push, so take that Clankers. Definitely coming down the pipe here. Rex's best command card by a lot is take that Clankers because it can extend the range of these Z6s to 4, and offensive push can extend the threat range to 5. So really hard to avoid the Alpha Strike from Captain Rex because it is so long ranged. 3 sets of ARC Troopers, all with DC-15s, and then 3 sets of BARC Speeders with the Twin Laser Gunner, no upgrades, giving it a fairly healthy dice pool on a Surge. A red, 3 black, 2 white, so slightly more punch than a speeder bike. And a red save, but only a single model. And Surge is going on in the BARCs to give them that 3-up save. This is kind of what I've been curious to see. If I played a triple BARC list, I would absolutely be running Assault. I'd absolutely be running Captain Rex. Possibly the generic Clone Commander when it comes out. Don't know for certain. But we see that Timbo took Padme and moved her up, didn't take any tokens with her. So no exemplar for her yet other than the Surge. And this, this is actually this is the 5 specialist squad. So 5 specialists here moves up, pulled from the stack, did not use 5s this turn because he put orders on the BARCs instead. Fives is a tremendous upgrade for Gar. He is possibly like the best trooper upgrade right now. Like super good. I'm actually gonna check in what kind of timer they put on the game. It's a 3-hour timer, so should be handy. Likely we'll see the first few turns of the arc strikes jockeying for position. The good news for the BARCs is that there are 10 activations to 9 and Timbo 1 priority, so 2 of these BARCs should be able to dip out here and get some shots in without being shot back. And then I wouldn't be surprised if we saw push coming from Rex to get the 2 BARCs that show themselves out of harm's way. The struggle is you're going to run out of command cards to keep orders on these BARCs. That's really the struggle here. Okay, it seems that the ARC Troopers have found a Phase 2, and they're going to see if they can take one of these Phase 2s out. Phase 2s are kind of vulnerable to arc strikes because the arcs have that awesome lethal. Unfortunately, this aim will have to be used for re-rolling. And Timbo spending a second aim, or not Timbo, but Degree spending a second aim for lethal, and a dodge token being spent. Unfortunately, that dodge negating the second hit there. I'm guessing that second aim was actually used for a reroll, because knowing that he has a dodge in hand, you wouldn't spend it because you know it's just going to get killed by dodge on the other side. Let's see here. 255. Oh, great. I put the timer up and then I closed the app. Just brilliant. So I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving weekend if you're in America. It's probably very socially distanced, I imagine. Well, we do want to mention that Timbo is the first seed, the #1 seed. Timbo, the blue player, playing the Aayla Tank, #1 seed in this tournament. And basically you challenge players to ladder games. I think that's going to be possibly 2 phase 2s killed there. Ouch. Alright, so Degree losing 2 phase 2s to this Arc Strike team from Timbo. There you go. So we're in Season 3 currently. There have been 3 iterations of the Ladder League. And the way it works is you play game kind of as you go, and you challenge other players in the ladder, and you try to increase your elo. And then at the end of the season, the top 16 players who have played 5 games at least and have played 3 different opponents get seeded into a 16-person bracket, and then that becomes a single elimination tournament. Timbo got first seed. He had 10 matches played, going 9-1 on the season, which is a crazy good record. 90% win rate, almost 1600 rating. Didn't quite break 1600 this season. Degree in 16th. 7 games, 4 wins, 3 losses, a 57% win rate with a 1508 ELO. Yes, this is using the new errata endpoints. That's probably why you're seeing the Aayla tank. Because the Aayla tank formerly couldn't take up the commander position. It can in this list because Aayla is a field commander, and with the new field commander rules, you are able to use Aayla as your commander in your list, and you can run Aayla Padme without any additional command staff. So you don't need Rex or Kenobi or Anakin. I do think Maul and Anakin were legal for this tournament, if I'm not mistaken. But they're not present today. And at any time, if you want to read the lists, you can type !red list or blue list, all one word, in chat, and it'll call up each of the players' lists for you. So if you have a question about that, you can just use that bot, and the bot will tell you what the lists are. Meanwhile, we see a phase 2 moving somewhat laterally, trying to get an angle. These BARC Speeders do not have impact weapons, so they are going to be pretty useless against the tank. You're going to want to try to move around the flank and kill off maybe arc strikes or phase 2s. The struggle here is that because the deployment is roll out, it's a short edge versus short edge fight, and it's going to be quite difficult to flank because of the long kind of alley that the battle is already developing into. Hopefully, hopefully the Clanker shots can get some good crits in on this tank. If the tank dies, that would be pretty bad for Timbo here. A lot riding on this tank. He does have R2-D2 in his list for the repairs, so the Saber does have, considering R2-D2's repair potential, 13 health, which is a lot of health, and possibly saving on a red with Surge. Here we go. It's begun. The first shot into the tank. Let's see how successful it is. It's coming from a phase 2 Z6 and nothing. So not a successful first shot. The tank takes no damage, but I think the tank was the only thing that could be shot there. So not really a problem, just more of an attack of opportunity. Unfortunately, this tank does have to move forward. It cannot aim shoot back because of the angle that it was sitting on top of the roof. Had to zip up over the top of the dome to see anything at all. And actually, now that it's up there, it might actually not be eligible for any cover at all. Because no part of the base is obscured anymore. So the tank is actually so large on top of this roof that it is in the open. And I think Timbo needs to be careful because these BARCs If you look at where the side arc is pointing, the BARCs can actually get into the side arc already and start getting that weak point 1 rolling on their shots. So that could be a minor problem. Really depends on how hot the BARCs roll. I think this red BARC might be able to get into the side arc on one move. Green certainly can't do it, but red probably could. Right, the triple BARCs. Yeah, so like no one ran BARCs before the points adjustments, right? It was just too expensive. But now that you can run the twin laser for 75 on a BARC, I think it's definitely competitive now, or more competitive than it was. In fact, I'm actually a little bit concerned that it kind of replaces the clone ATRT a little bit too hard. Because I think there's no point to running a rotary RT anymore, and so like the only weapon on the RT now for clones worth investigating is probably the flamethrower. Okay, here comes the Saber, moving over the desert house on top of the roof, and looking at some clones now at range 2. Got the twin laser turret active here. Maybe a pretty sizable attack pool. He's got no token sharing though, because not only because the tank is not a clone trooper, it's also running Aayla. And Aayla, despite having a lot of Inspire, which is super useful for clones, does not have the ability to pull tokens. And that's kind of responsible for the tank's accuracy. But these additional black dice are going to help. And the tank shoots a whopper of a shot. That's actually 8. 6 hits and 2 crits off of this Timbo Saber Tank. Going into purple now, who is just in light cover, will take a dodge. Ugh, a really brutally bad save. Going to take 3 wounds there after spending the surge. So the tank just dropping people. And between this arc strike and the tank now, 5 phase 2 clone models have been killed. Did strafe get changed, as in can he strafe from their next turn? That is a great question. Huh, okay. You know, he might be able to, he might not be able to. I need to look at the entry. But because I see what you're saying, Krugar. I see that he's on the roof, right? And if the sides are deemed impassable, he'd have to go to the rules reference, and so he couldn't technically strafe down. I'm actually going to call this up in another window. Got another ARC team. These ladders do grant scale, so this ARC team could move, get their tactical, and scale up, and start taking some shots. It's curious though, right? I think Timbo has a pretty cool list. Because like, what do you shoot? It's really hard to figure out what to shoot in this list. Do you shoot the tank? Oh, it just gets repaired by R2-D2. Do you shoot phase 2s? They just get dodge shared. Do you shoot ARC troopers? Well, they have a model hidden. So there's a lot of like defensive plays in Timbo's list that don't rely on dice. They just rely on positioning and keywords. So I think that's really one of the strengths of his list. see if I can find the rules reference entry for strafe and see if it got changed at all. Loading that up in that other window. Alright, more arc strikes finding their marks on the purple clones, and a crit coming off Timbo is going to result in the Z6 falling. So purple clones getting just massacred. As opposed to 0 on Timbo's side. So Timbo successfully giving his opponent a bloody nose in this first turn. All right, arc strike number 7 now. Moving in, see if they can do some damage where the others couldn't. Attacking the phase 1 unit that has shown themselves. These phase 1s are really a token battery, and that's their only function. But successfully nailing them with a crit. And he's going to re-roll for a second crit. Very nice. 2 crits going through on the phase 1s. Does he have lethal rolling? I don't know. If he did have lethal rolling, he would be able to shoot down 2 here, given that save roll. Okay, so looking at the strafe entry, it did get changed. Yeah, strafe got changed, because there's blue text here that says, while performing a strafe, a repulsor vehicle mini can move onto or over a piece of terrain that has a height that is equal to or less than the height of the unit leader's mini. So yeah, it did get changed. It's no longer, you no longer consult the movement rules on page 8. It got cleaned up. So he should be able to strafe down. And like you say, Krugar, he can hide the weak point if he strafes into the alley between the 2 buildings. And he'll still have vision on the on both lanes. So that would actually be quite a strong position for the tank. And of course, payload here, I need to ask them what buildings their payloads are heading toward. Because I don't see the objective tokens on the field. Okay, so... Okay, now I see what they've done. They've colorized the crates so that it indicates where the payloads are heading. So the blue payload is heading to this red crate here. And the red payload is heading to the blue crate here. So it's kind of a mirror. Both payloads... There is a chance that they avoid each other if the red payload goes south. And the blue payload is likely going to go north here. It might be interesting. I wonder if the BARCs can stop the blue payload. That's really interesting to me. Because the way you win payload is by freezing your opponents without having your own get frozen. That's kind of how you win. Payload, just to remind everybody, basically, if you have more of your unit leaders near your payload than your opponent, you get to move your payload, and vice versa. You don't get to move your opponent's payload ever, but you can stop it from advancing. And so sometimes like taking being able to freeze your opponent's payload for one turn is super problematic for them. You can actually just win the game outright off that. Okay, this is the Echo Strike team shooting into another arc, getting hit crit. Spends one aim, does not get an additional crit, and I think he'll spend the other for lethal. And Impervious does not fire, so an ARC Trooper will die. But more casualties for Degree here. Losing so far 6 Phase 2s and 1 ARC Trooper, compared to just 2 Phase 1 clones on Timbo's side of the board. So Timbo in the lead here on attrition. And that is really a really great place to be on payload. The more attrition you take, the less willing you are to risk damage. And your movement kind of gets frozen out if you are not able to successfully like have enough stuff to weather the damage of your opponent. The less material you have, the more risk averse you become. Yeah, we talked like, God, how long did we talk about payload? We were trying to make it a short episode and we just failed so hard. We can't ever make our episodes short. The game is like, you know, that's something that's really cool about Star Wars Legion in general, right? The game actually has a ton of depth, and the skill curve is actually like quite steep. But it's like super simple. Like that's the beauty of the system. Like it's simple to learn. It's insanely hard to play at a high level. There are so many moving parts. Yeah, that podcast was Notorious Scoundrel. Because why not? I'm a human billboard. No, seriously though. We did do a long episode on payload recently on Notorious Scoundrels. Ooh, nice reroll, getting the crit there. And lethal coming up, and Impervious getting rolled, and oh, another Impervious fail. So an Arc Strike model getting taken down for Timbo. Oh boy. Man, I want to see the tank shoot some more. That was quite a shellacking it gave those clones in light cover, rolling out to 6 hits and 2 crits. Okay, we got 5s moving up for Timbo. Both sides running 5s in their list. 5s in a Phase 1 with a Clone Specialist. It's interesting. I think with the price changes... Oh, I think the Specialist went down, didn't it? Do this math real quick. Like, they have this... Clone players do this thing where they run 5s in a Phase 1 to give it Courage 2. And then they run the Specialist to give it Surge on certain turns. Yeah, so that's actually 102 currently to run a phase 1 like that. That's not cheap. But it is 6 bodies. And you get that surge coming out. And I guess, let's see, an extra clone troop. Yeah, it's only 10 points. I guess you just want the surge, basically. The struggle is you have to use the specialist during 5's activation. Oh, he got a BARC moving. Okay, so this BARC is going to move. It's going to get up on top of the building. You can see the tank very easily, but of course BARCs in this mode have no they have no impact, so he's bypassing the tank maybe? Because if he goes this way, he'll be in the side arc, but he won't have arc on the tank. But he will have the ability to shoot an ARC Trooper mini. He's trying to... I think he was trying to hit the side arc, but I don't think he's going to be able to, so he might as well just back up, double move, and shoot here. You really want aim tokens, though. BARCs do not fare well shooting into red saves, generally speaking, especially not red saves with surges. But there is a chance that he can take out an arc model here with his BARC Trooper, and that would be a win for sure if he was able to make that happen. So here comes Twin Laser BARC, and only gets 2 hits. Ugh, terrible. So just gonna deal suppression. Feels bad, man. Really want aim tokens on those BARC Speeders when you can get them. They super benefit from them. Even blanking on the red dice there. Now R2-D2 and C-3PO will swing into action. What will they give odds to? Probably giving odds to Padme, if I had to guess. So Padme can share her aims with the tank or some other unit. I see, I see. Okay. So that's why you do it. It's basically... Yeah, so it's basically offensive push and an extra body rolled into one miniature. I see that. That's actually super cool. Plus it gives 5s that big dice pool, right? Because 5s in a phase 1 is 7. That extra clone gives you 8 black. So it makes you really good at clankers, because then you can throw 8 black at range 4. Wow, that's pretty nasty. Yeah, see, I don't play clones enough. I gotta start playing them now. Because phase 2's got nerfed, so I feel like I can play them now. Yeah, I have so much to paint. I've been painting Rebels mainly lately. Started painting Cassian. Or not started him, but I finished his base coat last night, and so I'm going to shade him today. Maybe do some other stuff today on my painting bench with Cassian and other minis. Second BARC here moving in. Double moving. Oh, I don't like it. You really want to aim and shoot if possible. I think he's trying to get to the side arc on the Saber. Yeah, asking to see the side arc. He does not have the side arc unless he moves in further. He did get past the front arc of the Saber, though, and you can see the last 2 remaining minis in this clone unit. They're going to be in heavy cover thanks to suppression and the payload there. Payload actually grants heavy cover anyway. So they are definitely in cover, and only getting 3. So it'll force 1 save. BARCs do surge to hit natively unless there's a dodge token, and there is a dodge here from 5, so no damage once again on these BARCs. So these BARCs have done 0 damage on their initial attack so far. There is a third BARC. I think this is going to be the last activation of the turn. You really want aim. That's why I want to run BARCs with LTA. That's just what I would hope to get. It's kind of a best case scenario. Another BARC coming up here. They're shy of 3 on the black clone troopers. So he might instead tilt inward. Wow. I don't think he's got vision on Echo. It's interesting though, Echo is alone currently. So lucky shot here could take out Echo. He's still in heavy cover though. So 2 will get through cover. And a double blank could mean a dead Echo. And that is the total opposite of a double blank. Timbo with 2 saves. No damage to Echo. So the BARCs doing 0 damage. Completely 0 this turn. They've done nothing on turn 1. So not only did Degree take a bloody nose here with 7 wounds dealt to him, his BARCs did no damage to Timbo's army. And we have a mechanized, or not mechanized, but synchronized offensive coming from Degree. Who's going to pass an aim 5, so we'll pass an aim to someone else. Maybe getting ready for some BARC fire support. We'll see. Can't really fire support though from those positions. Maybe the green guys can fire support on the tank. Fire support in the side arc wouldn't be the worst. Meanwhile, the tank is going to get an order, and assault will give Padme an order as well as R2-3PO an order. So I love this play from Timbo. He's able to get all the important things he needs to keep the order, or he needs to keep in order. So generally you would go first with R2-3PO, then with Padme, then with the tank, and then you pull all of Padme's exemplar tokens off of her. But green here, yeah, if green moves, Echo is in the open. So this is great for green. Green could actually kill Echo here. There is a chance. It is a 3-up save. Right, 5 squad with the extra guy is a 7 health unit. I forgot that 5 has an extra wound also. So not only do you have the 4 troopers, you have 5s with 2 wounds and the extra dude for 7 health. Oh yeah, they forgot to move their payloads. Whoops, they were so eager to get to the second turn, they forgot to do their payload movement. That's actually crazy important, because this payload could move to give Echo cover, and it will. So I kind of feel like they should rewind this move from the BARC speeder. Now that this BARC is shooting across the payload, Echo would get heavy cover, as opposed to being out of cover. But I don't think that's it's not going to help Degree at all. And actually, this move is not legal. So is he going to try to snake up here on top of the roof to get Echo out of cover? I think that's a possibility. Yeah, I was running the math on BARCs the other day, and I was sort of like, man, this offense pool does not look good when you're shooting into cover. It's really, really bad. In fact, I benchmarked the entire, like all my calculations I benchmarked against red saves, and BARCs did not look particularly good against red saves. Okay, so heavy cover. I think he took an aim. Yeah, he took an aim token, getting 5 hits there, down to 3. And Echo will bite the dust. Nice. So Timbo having some foul luck there to Degree's benefit, and Echo is out of the picture. No more Echo. So the Echo strike team is down. Should be 67 points, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, an Echo strike is... I have the builder up. An Echo strike is 67, yeah. Oh snap, look at this. Okay, so Padme went first, and she took a standby token. But unfortunately, if 3PO and R2 try to calculate odds to her, they'll strip her standby off. And yeah, if I'm purple, I'm just gonna run away. There's no point in sticking around to get killed. I would go back here and just take a token. Maybe an aim. And that's the power of these little squads here. Or not little squads, but like the single unit leader in a clone army is still a valid token producer. Okay, tank is checking to see if that move triggered its standby. It of course did not. The tank is going to activate and do some murder on these BARCs. The ones that don't have surge are super vulnerable. They'll have native cover 1, but BARCs do not have armor. So this BARC could very easily die to a saber shot. Alright, twin laser turret active once again, not bothering with the shell, doesn't need it. In fact, he may not use the shell at all this game because there is just no armor. And a pretty good shot there. That'll be 3 crits and 2 hits. Did he aim? He does have to aim it. And getting nothing on his aim there. A second aim being spent from another source, probably from Padme Exemplar. And that should make it, yeah, 4 crits and 3 hits, so 7 down to 6. The BARC actually saving pretty well there. Man, if the BARC had a surge, it would have only taken 1 wound. And that's got to be the power of the BARC speeder, right? Is that sometimes you can push its defensive efficiency way high. And for 75 points, it can still pump out a fair bit of firepower. It's also relatively fast. Like, clone units are, like, the only fast clone unit is the Saber, right? There are no, like, fast clone units that are not the Saber. And BARCs are, even then, BARCs are only speed 2. But, I mean, I guess that's kind of fast. They're on a medium base. So a speed 2 move with a medium base is, like, 8 inches. It's pretty quick. Okay, firing back is the phase 2 clones, and Padme Exemplar is going to spend her surge, and the Saber will take no damage. Wow, it is like... wow, and the Saber has outmaneuver too. So you could actually have spent Padme's dodge there as well. So, wow, Aayla Padme. Timbo showed me something here. This is pretty sick. I'm like digging this combo. This is fun. I mean, it's especially good versus people that don't have impact weapons because their random crits just get negated either by Padme having a dodge for your outmaneuver or by a 3+ save by having Padme Exemplar Surge. That's pretty dope. And yeah, Padme on like turn 1, if she starts in range, can just quick thinking... Well, yeah, not even just turn 1. Like, every turn she goes, she can quick thinking dodge or quick thinking aim. And then you have... Not only do you have dice correction, you also have surge defense at least once on your Saber Tank. So, Padme Tank, pretty sick. I think I've called out that combo in the past, but Timbo reminding me why it's good. This was clever though. I like this list a lot. This Padme, Aayla, R2. Like who needs the generic commander when you've got Padme to be your token battery? Who needs the clone pilot when you've got Padme to be your token battery? So just take Aayla instead, because she can not only be the commander of your list, she can also inspire your other clone troopers. Okay, so that's an arc strike shooting into another arc strike, and actually, Degree doing a pretty good job of purging these arcs. Half of the arc models now for Timbo are off the board. So maybe that's the key here for Degree, is he'll just have more unit leaders at the end of everything, and with more unit leaders on average, like in theory you should be able to stop the payload easier. Now this arc might be vulnerable to the brown arc and be shot back as well, so the arcs are continuing to exchange fire here. Kind of ignoring the BARCs, to be honest. Not focusing on them at all. Because BARCs don't really threaten the Saber. BARCs threaten the troopers in the back here. So removing the piercing crits of these arc strikes is pretty high priority for Timbo, since those are the only things in Degree's list that can do reliable, consistent damage to the Saber Tank. But just as I say that, he's instead going to take a look at this BARC Speeder and follow through with his Saber attack and attempt to get some more hits through. And actually, this is fine, because this BARC is actually in the open right now, since the base for repulsors doesn't count for cover. So those two are going to stay on. He rolls the double save, but Pierce is coming, so a third wound there. If he didn't have the... what was I trying to say? If it didn't have native cover 1, that would have been a lot more damage. And actually, this BARC is now disabled. BARCs do break on 3, which is pretty high. Like, once you take 3 wounds, you break. So keeping that defensive surge on is important, and Pierce is really bad for you. Alright, so Degree now pulling his BARC has a decision to make. Should he aim, shoot, then compulsory, or should he go with a different unit? He's going with a different unit, which I don't necessarily agree with. This BARC is going to the outside. Is he trying to get that last little bit of vision here? He's got to be careful. He might cruise right into a standby, because Padme's standby is up right now. Okay, instead going to go with his blue BARC Speeder, doing a compulsory? This should be the compulsory because of the disabled token. So if this is his normal move, it'll take 2 actions. Not certain what Degree is attempting to do here. Actually, because you do have the... I think BARC's twin lasers do have rear fixed as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they have rear fixed also. They have fixed front and fixed rear. So he might be doing a rear gun shot. Yeah, technically this is a legal shot, yeah, so he's going to do a rear gun shot. He's going to compulsory aim and then a rear gun at the brown ARC Trooper, rolling 2 crits, very nice. Aim might be irrelevant here. Yeah, so the aim was not relevant, but the shot is blocked. So a little bit of luck for both players there. Kind of canceling each other out. This BARC now in a position to make a getaway on the following turn, but only 2 wounds left. That's kind of bad news for that blue BARC speeder. But I don't think any more of Timbo's units are going to get to shoot it this turn. Yeah, because Echo's gone. This ARC model doesn't want to reveal itself and make a greedy decision. You've got 5s attached to these phase 2s, though, and they could put the hurt on some BARC speeders. Hey, what's up, TK421? Okay, so 5 is moving, and you're gonna find a BARC speeder without any heavy cover. Let's see how much damage 5s does to this BARC. There's been a lot of damage exchanged here in these early turns. Both players just getting in there, not holding back at all. Trying to start off strong. Alright, I'll be right back really quick. Hold on, guys. And we're back. Okay, so looks like 5 shot this BARC, did 2 wounds successfully. That's a pretty solid roll though for 5. Getting 2 crits there. Maybe some surges got spent. Hey, what's up, dude? Captain Zodiac, welcome back. 4 months, thank you. Massive props, thank you, sir. Appreciate the resub. Okay, so BARCs now 15 wounds between the 3 of them. They've taken 5 total. Standby still on the table here since Padme is chilling out. This red BARC, did it go? I see. Okay, the red BARC must have shot and then done a compulsory. I'll have to check the footage because I was away from my keyboard, so I don't know what the right call is, but I do know this. 5s did wounds to that thing. Because there's no way it could have I was like, did it just crash? But no. It can't, BARCs can't crash into anything that isn't the desert tower here because of the speeder rule. It is important to note that speeder bikes and BARC speeders can crash into height 2 structures. So for example, in the early tables, when the game was first being played, people would do these infinite height Endor trees, and your speeder bikes could very much crash into those infinite height Endor trees. Kind of like the movie. It was super fluffy. Okay, so tank definitely checking for standby here. And remember, the tank does not have to shoot the target that trips the standby. So the tank, this BARC could move, the tank could pull Padme's standby, and then get a shot off on something in front of it. Okay, so Timbo calls it, trips the standby, and the tank could shoot again. So double tapping tank here on turn 2 does not have the BARC speeder in the front arc. The turret, though, is 360. So Arsenal is on the table. There are a lot of dodges in Degree's camp here around the payload. So it might be worth taking the standby to shoot blue or green. And then just like volleying a shot because you can at one of these green boys. You don't not fire the main cannon here. Okay, I think he's gonna go main cannon into the brown arcs, and then the turret into the blue BARC speeder with a split fire, which I think makes the most sense. Gets 2 on the BARC, forcing a save. Puts it 1 wound closer to death potentially here in a minute. Spends an aim for critical 1. Okay, this could kill the BARC. Oh, he full saves it. Nice. Okay, so the BARC avoiding death there. The Saber turret had a chance to take it out. Did not succeed. And now, fixed front cannon. Critical 1 coming through onto the ARC Trooper. And it fails a save. So making some hay there. Killing even 1 ARC model is a bonus. And that's purely off of Padme Exemplar standby. Really nice play for Timbo there. He knows the BARCs have to move compulsory, and so Padme is particularly good because she basically sets up a net where she can just catch you with a standby. Got an aim from Padme. Padme Exemplar. Padme on her turn did quick thinking standby. That's how it got an aim. And now the BARC on top of the hill here is attacking, not the hill, but on top of the roof. Attacking phase 2 clones in the open. And gets 3 there. Padme will spend probably her quick thinking dodge and make it 2. Oh man, these BARCs just have not been able to do any damage. Then again, BARCs are the worst against clones. Like in the mirror, BARCs are bad. Like, I'm willing to say this. Because they have no piercing. They're really good at killing battle droids. They're really good at killing rebels. They're pretty awful against red saves. So this is kind of not the BARCs like best matchup by any stretch of the imagination. Is R2 gonna shoot them? What a jerk. Oh, R2 calculates to Padme. Okay, so Padme spent her standby, and R2 can just calculate to her, so she'll have aim dodge again to share. Okay, R2 does not shoot, instead he moves. Trying to stay with the payload, I wager. Also getting closer for Secret Mission, though Secret Mission is going to be really hard to score on rollout. Especially when you have this giant desert tower blocking off the corner. His rollout, I think, is about here for red. So the only way R2 gets in is through this alleyway, and that's a pretty long a haul, especially if you don't have blast off, or you have to play it early because you have to get over this desert arch. Okay, that's a good question, Zodiac. Where is the payload headed? So the blue payload is headed towards this red crate here. I initially didn't see what they did, but they decided to mark the crates by using color tinting. So this is the blue payload objective, is this red crate here. And then the red payload objective is the blue crate here. So the red payload has to go through the Saber, which is really not great for degree. Meanwhile, the blue payload is traveling through these BARCs, but the BARCs are way easier to kill. Noticeably absent from the BARC list is R2-D2. And R2-D2 can repair BARC speeders. So R2-D2 might have been the play here, running BARCs, because, you know, 4 additional wounds is always good. It might have been an awkward fit to get 10 activations afterward, though. And I think the plan here might just be ignore the Saber and start killing troopers. He's going to shoot 5s in heavy. And did he spend for lethal? Don't think he did. There's a little bit of confusion here. Usually when the action stops and the hands start waving, there's some kind of confusion. Oh, he spends Padme's dodge. Nice. Okay, so Padme, again, Padme calculates. Super strong combo right there. Okay, sorry for the dead air. Alright, so phase 2 is moving now. These BARCs are in trouble. Green and blue are both in trouble. There are actually 3 aim tokens out on the table for this phase 2, and that's looking super bad for this green BARC. I actually have a sneaking suspicion that this green BARC might not remain on the table after this attack, because a triple aim Z6 is usually really strong. How many surges are left? No surges though, so this will not be one of those crazy like Rex, you know, oh, not only do I have 3 or 4 aims, I also have 8 surges or whatever kind of shots. So yeah, it won't be too won't be that crazy, but it could still very easily kill this BARC. Cover 1, of course, being granted because of the BARC's keywords, but let's see how many hits get in here. We've got a Z6 and 4 Phase 2 clones, so a full strength squad. Could very easily knock over 3 wounds on this BARC speeder and kill it. He needs to make sure he keeps one of his dudes in Padme and the arc strikes range. Shouldn't be too hard to do. That guy just needs to see the BARC's model. Again, bases don't matter. The model matters more because you got a lot of overhang on these things. BARCs especially have a lot of overhang. I have one assembled here at home, and they are huge. You just even on the medium base, and getting a great start with 3 hits and 2 crits. And let's see if he can convert any more. I think he's gonna blow every aim token he has here just to max out. Yeah, gets another crit there. Okay, so just a bunch of surges. Kind of those aims, kind of a dud. But even so, it's 5 in the initial rollout, and that should be close to enough, almost. So putting 2 more wounds on the BARC, an average save there, keeping that BARC alive. Let's see what kind of damage it takes. Is going to take weapon destroyed or weapon disabled. And I think that's not that relevant. I think you weapon destroy the twin laser gunner because that reduces the ceiling by 2. I think that's the one that makes the most sense, is to make sure the sidecar gets damaged. So damaging the sidecar will remove 2 dice from the pool of that BARC speeder when it tries to use the twin laser gunner. So the clones shooting there and basically hitting the sidecar and causing it to be damaged. Okay, this is an arc strike with a single model. A risky move. But moving out here and actually... is this heavy cover still? I couldn't tell. I think if there was no suppression at the start of the shot, it should be an open. I guess I'll just remove the 1. Okay, I guess they were already suppressed. Oh, never mind. They would have had heavy cover anyway, because they were partially obscured by this arch. Basically, just about everything you shoot at long distance through this archway is gonna have heavy cover. There's very little question. But I think this is a smart play from Timbo. The only thing he's really offering to shoot is this huge armored boat with an R2 behind it. And, like, if I'm Degree, it's like, man, I really don't want to use Clankers on this tank. I'm just going to get, you know, bounced by armor and dodge sharing. Well, the 5 squad will shoot the tank. There are no dodges left. And 2 crits are coming. Yeah, spending 2 aims there. The tank does not save, but that is easily fixed by R2-D2. So these are 2 wounds in the tank that are going to come right off next turn when R2-D2 activates. So, I mean, it's kind of a nothing burger offensively. The game is really going to come down to unit leaders on the payload. Currently, both players are overwhelming their payloads, and so there's going to be no problem with them moving. Okay, so Degree coming out with a synchronized offensive of his own. So trying to remind the players to move their payloads during the end phase. You're supposed to move them during the end phase. You're not supposed to wait until the start of the next command phase or after the command phase, which is I think what happened last time. Basically, it's really important that you move the payload at the right time because you need full information. Because payloads grant cover. So it's like, it's a moving barricade essentially. Yeah, we got Timbo dropping Synchronized Assault. Okay, so Synchronized Assault here is going to be dropped on 5s, who will coordinate to the Phase 2, and Aayla in the tank. General Aayla Secura, the everybody's favorite blue Twi'lek. Twi'lek. You can tell me how to correctly pronounce that name. Is it Twi'lek, Twi'lek, or Twi'lek? I think I used to pronounce it Twi'lek, but lately I've been saying Twi'lek. I don't know. Yeah, potato. Okay, so the Saber here activated, taking a second aim, and what's it gonna do? Is it gonna just dish on blue here in light cover, or try to kill off green? I really think that this build, though, makes a lot of sense. You've got, I mean, Aayla and the twin laser turret working together makes a ton of sense. Because, like, this is the tank that never wants to recover, basically. Because it doesn't use the clone pilot. Oh, a split fire. Okay, so splitting into green and getting nothing there, but there's 2 aims. So that'll quickly be rectified. He needs to reroll both. Okay, the BARC does save it. Thought he was going to use his second reroll there to get another wound through, but did not successfully kill that BARC speeder. And now he'll shoot the main cannon at a different unit. Probably green, if I had to guess. It's a couple crits there. Can he get another hit through? So I think right now this Saber has critical 1. So actually just 1 hit there. And rerolls into a couple. Nice blocks from Degree. Really nice. I'll be right back again. Sorry, folks. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, the speeder can't displace on non-compulsory move. I didn't see it, so I don't think I'm going to ask him to go back. It probably doesn't impact the game that much. But yeah, the speeder can't displace unless it's doing a compulsory. That's right. Or any speeder, really. I say the speeder because, to me, a speeder implies T-47. Okay, another chance for this BARC speeder to go down here. It's got 2 wounds remaining, and that surge token is going to keep it alive. Oh man, these BARCs they're hanging on. I thought they would have been dead long ago, but they actually held on about a turn longer than I thought they would. Due in part to Degree's good saves. But you got 2 BARCs now on 4 wounds, so they're about to crack. And I don't think they've done quite enough damage to justify their presence. But again, I think I mentioned earlier, this is probably their worst matchup. Basically, any clone list is going to be bad for BARCs because of the lack of Pierce. They don't have the rockets, so they're not particularly useful against the Saber Tank. They don't have the ion gun either. Man, ion BARCs would actually wreck this. Okay, so they're doing what they can do, which is killing strike teams. And actually, he can just aim, shoot, and then compulsory afterward. He doesn't have to compulsory first now. So he can certainly shoot this brown ARC trooper. Well, I mean, BARCs have renewed interest, right? Bikes are not an easy unit to play. That's another thing that bikes have going against them. They're punishing to play. Like, when you make a mistake, it's really hard to come back. Right, trying to take out this arc sniper. And this is what we need. We needed the aims. There you go. Getting 5 there on that arc sniper. And good night, Irene. Arc sniper down, another activation killed. So the tank list now down to 7 activations. And Degree, despite taking all this damage, still rocking 10. So he's got some leverage here. Interestingly enough, I don't know if he measured to stay. I'm sorry for the camera jerking around. I don't know if he measured to stay at range 1 of the blue payload, because that would actually put some pressure on Degree or on a Timbo to move around. Okay, so an operative token coming out. Padme. Yeah, Padme should absolutely shoot the wounded BARC and just kill it. Don't shoot the unwounded BARC. Shoot the wounded BARC. Yeah, quick thinking shoot. Just get the 1 result. She has sharpshooter 2, right? Yeah, so You literally just need any result to kill the BARC next to her. And there it is. Crit Pierce. Good night. Good night. So Padme claiming that bike, getting the kill. Quick thinking, doesn't even need to spend the aim, can now share those tokens through Exemplar to her nearby clone squads. People saying to me, oh man, I'd take a phase 2 over Padme. I'm like, you are full of it. Padme is really good. Timbo actually doing a great job with his Padme, I feel. Although he's doing a little more than sitting her in one spot and doing the stuff. But that's kind of what you want. You want her a full time on token creation. So you need to just get her to a spot where she can be effective early and then just sit on your hands generating tokens. Okay, arc, or not arc, but the this is the rear cannon. So this is a rear cannon and blaster rifle shot from this twin laser BARC. 3 hits into Brown, but guess what? Padme is out of range for the dodge. I thought Padme would have been able to share it. It doesn't matter anyway. The red ARC troopers save it. And now this BARC should be able to run away. We hope. I don't know if that was just a regular shot. If it was... Oh no, it looks like it was an aim and shoot. I don't think he's safe. I think the arc strike will kill it at the end of the at the end of the day. Gosh, I can't speak for some reason. Okay. R2-3PO next. Probably just calculate Padme and then shoot. I mean, shoot BARC, I guess. Yeah. Here we go. So... Oh, is it a fire-supported R2? Are you joking with me right now? Oh my gosh. Fire support R2 gets the hit surge. That is comedy. I love it. Love it. So yeah, 9 white, 2 black. Getting 6 hits on the rollout. Oh, this poor BARC speeder. Ah, oh, this BARC's gonna take 3 wounds even. Oh my goodness. So these BARCs getting killed in quick succession. In fact, all 3 may not survive the turn. BARC is damaged, picks up a disabled token as well. That is a sick fire support. Fire supported R2, boys. Give me that hit surge. That was glorious. Okay, Rex coming into the battle now. Needs to get his behind on the payload. Clipping a little bit close to the wall. That's probably okay. I figured he could get there, but even if he had to bend the tool a little bit. Doesn't get range 2 of the tank. Picks up an aim for moving and then an aim action. Clankers still has not been played. This is turn 3. And Clankers has not made an appearance. That's the other side of taking Padme R2, is that you have platforms to fire support off of, even if they're short range. You can also fire support the tank, just to get the big dice pool out there. You can throw like 19 dice with the tank and fire support. It's just a lot of freaking damage. Alright, Crit's coming back into the Saber. Not getting more than one. Yeah, he just really doesn't have an answer for armor. Saber saves. It's just not enough. Now that two BARCs are, or one BARC is down, one is on its way out, and red might also be in jeopardy. Like, all Timbo really has to do to finish this game out is stick on the payload and play defense. Keep that Saber Tank covering this lane, prevent the clones from advancing on the payload without getting completely punished by the Saber. Payload, a great objective for Timbo in blue. Okay, my bad. I'd take a second there. Alright, so 5's now moving. I think attrition definitely now coming into play here with the BARCs down. And really, like, now that the BARCs are down, what do you even have left? Like, you just don't really have guns. So 5's taking another shot here into the BARC. Trying to do those last two wounds to finish it off. So 5 hits into the BARC. Will it fall? It will fall. Final 2 wounds there. The 5 hits overwhelming the defenses of that BARC speeder, causing it to be removed from the board. Another 75 points in the bag for Timbo. Our #1 ladder seed versus Degree in 16. Timbo finishing first place in the ladder season with a record of 9 victories and 1 loss. A 90% win rate. So the struggle that I'm having with Clankers is that Clankers, the only thing Clankers really does is increase your range. It doesn't actually increase your damage output. All it does is increase your range. So if you're already engaged in a range 3 fight, like Clankers doesn't really do that much for you. I guess that isn't true if you're a full ARC squad, but if you're a Z6 squad, like, you only engage at 3 and below, so Clankers doesn't really do anything for you. Okay, we got some 5s on 5s combat. Whose 5s wore it better? Little Spider-Man meme going on in the middle here. And that is not great. Only getting 2 hits out of 8 black. This is looking like Royal Guard shooting. And those of you that have played Royal Guard know, Royal Guard don't shoot too well. But with Surges spent, that gets suddenly a lot better. Picks up a lot of Surges on offense there. I mean, Degree knows he needs to do the damage. Ugh, brutal. What a save. Padme Exemplar should turn that into a full save, unless... Oh no, he has a Surge. Why is he removing a miniature? Yeah, exactly. There you go. Nasty. Hey, what's up, Survive? Welcome. So far, the tank has been brutalizing these BARC speeders. Okay, so Arc Sniper now trying to pick up some phase 1s in the back. And Padme Exemplar Dodge once again stopping these Arc Snipers in their tracks. That is honestly, I think, the biggest... That's the biggest reason to take Padme in situational awareness is in mirror matches. Enemy Arc Snipers do no damage to your phase 2s as long as Padme has dodges. Or as long as anyone has a dodge, really. That is the biggest argument for situational. Because clone and droid snipers just become useless. Yeah, Aayla FC's been doing some work, man. Not so much the Inspire. It's more the fact that she can be commander for Padme. Okay, a full arc team now shooting range 3. Some really aggressive plays here from Degree, but he knows he has to be aggressive now. He is behind. He's got to start playing more risky. 2 crits now going through. And wow. If only he had outmaneuver. Like, in this matchup, never has a unit that previously looked so incredible looked so bad. Yeah, what's up, Vela? Welcome back. Yeah, so 2 BARCs are dead. The blue BARC here is on 1 wound. The tank has 2 wounds, but R2 has full repairs remaining. Yeah, the clone would have to have situational awareness in the slot. And we can see that on the phase 2s, they both have situational. And then the tank has outmaneuver as a keyword. So it makes a lot of sense to run situational phase 2s and Padme together. Or situational 5s and situational Z6. Makes a ton of sense there. That is going to be the end of round 4. No, it's actually the end of 3. Wow, we're only in the 4th round now. Crazy. Players moving at a really good clip. Payloads are moving, and now things are going to get a little crazy because both payloads are moving beyond their armies. So this is the turn that could make or break. Turn 4 seems to come up a lot in payload games. Because that's about the turn that the payload starts to run away from the army. And both teams are in position to start scoring points. Next turn, both payloads should reach range 2 of their intended targets. Again, the blue crate heading to, or the blue bomb cart heading to this red colored crate, and the red bomb cart heading to this blue colored crate. Both sides probably would do well to cling to their payloads. There's actually, it's a question about whether, I guess both sides have the potential to sort of stop each other's payloads as well. But it's probably better for Timbo. Like, honestly, Timbo could strafe the tank off this height, but I guess he doesn't need to yet. The tank is just in a brilliant position. It's seeing everything from up here. The Padme 1-pip coming out. Oh, snap. Okay. This is a great time for Padme 1-pip. So she can transfer any number of suppression to herself and gain dodge tokens off it. So she's going to grab all the suppression that's been lingering. Or probably actually just grab 2 of it and give herself 2 dodges. That is really cool. Yeah, like that's kind of what I'm thinking too, Velo. I think that Timbo should just coalesce. He should gather up his army and just coalesce around his payload and push it to victory. Because he's ahead on points. Okay, so he activates Padme first after yanking those suppressions. And she just quick thinks. And takes another token. Padme did not divulge because she's sharing her surge with Exemplar. So Padme not divulging the 3-pip but playing it on turn 1, she basically became a super phase 2 in that regard. Yeah, like in an ideal world they wouldn't get shot, but sometimes it's just not possible. But yeah, I think, Izzy, you have the right of it. I think that the bikes just ran out ahead of their army. But it is Padme 1-pip versus Clankers. A bit late for Clankers, but Clankers could be effective here against the blue 5 squad. He doesn't want to direct any wrath at the tank at all. He just has to kind of play around it or ignore it, and that hasn't worked out so well for him thus far. That said, a tank being played this aggressively, even with Padme's dodging, would likely be dead to a Force user. Okay, so Arc Strike shooting an R2. Interesting choice. I guess he figures that it's the one target that Padme cannot feed dodges to that would negate the Arc Strike team. So it's kind of a forced move there because of this combination from Padme's side. But even then, like, damage that doesn't stick just gets repaired, or damage that sticks does just get repaired by R2. Another thing I really like about Timbo's list, this is kind of a proof of concept. I sort of figured that clone dodge sharing with situational awareness was a thing, and this kind of just shows me that it is. But it's especially, I think, versus arc strikes. Against high velocity, it's a lot worse. So even if this arc strike gets a crit through on the tank, Padme dodge sharing just saves it. Oh, weird. So Why did the tank roll there? Did he forget he could Padme dodge share to the tank? Okay, tank making a strafe maneuver. They've changed the strafe rules, so this is a legal maneuver. Oh, blocking the payload. I love this. Okay. Strafing to block the payload. Marvelous play here from Timbo. Might consider straightening out to keep the arc on target. I think if he straightened the strafe, he could actually sit between the structures. Right, like twin gunners, despite the fact that they're cheap, they don't have any keywords. And I feel like keywords is strong. So under the previous rule, he couldn't strafe off the building because it was considered impassable. But now he is able to strafe off the building thanks to the blue text. I think when you're moving down levels, it doesn't matter. The tank started up there, and it should be able to move off the dome without having to worry about that. It obviously can't go back up there, because now it's taller. And then this piece of terrain here is shorter than the tank. So I think this is illegal. This is a legal placement for this tank. And Degree are rolling some hot dice there. Both players rolling hot. Gonna be a full save, no damage. So now Degree trying to advance to stay on top of his payload. And Rex should barely get there in one move. I think the Occupier is the shortest. Oh yeah, that's right, the Saber has that antenna. Yes, the only way the Saber got on top of this building was because he was able to start up there with rollout. So now he's going to move off, and I don't think he can move back on ever. Okay, so this BARC doing a little turnaround move. Trying to get something done before it inevitably dies. Doing a 360 donut there. Just trying to get it to a place where it can contest the payload and push it forward. And Timbo smartly drawing up here. Pulling up stakes. Moving back. Maybe trying to share tokens with more things. Also trying to see that BARC speeder above the tank's body. Think he can see the top of the head from this position? Actually, no, maybe not. I think he's actually obscured now. No, he's obscured. When I moved the notch down a little bit, I'm pretty sure that head disappeared. Yeah, the Saber isn't modeled with the antenna in the client. That's accurate. This is weird. So I guess Timbo is still trying to find a shot for this arc strike. He just doesn't have vision. Okay, so he is attacking fives. He had the wrong squad highlighted. Yeah, it's hard though because like you have to like if you don't offer that interaction up to your opponent doesn't necessarily remember all of your actions. You know what I mean? There seems to be like a tendency now in these FFG games. I guess now it's an atomic mass game. But there was a tendency, right, towards the end of FFG's ownership of atomic mass, towards the end of FFG organized play, basically setting a precedent that says you both have to keep track of your opponent's keywords, or you both have to keep track of both players' keywords. They tried to make it like less, just less gotcha-y, and basically saying, look, we'll just play open-handed and you know, hidden information. We'll try to limit the amount of hidden information or the, you know, try to clarify otherwise obscure interactions before the game starts. Which, you know, it's a good motivation. I think it's well intentioned. I don't know on a practical level whether it's that workable. Like, do I need to have encyclopedic knowledge of the game? And I think the answer should be no. But like for me, just for me personally, I know that if I acquire that encyclopedic knowledge of the game, I just won't be caught unaware. Like I don't have to wait for my opponent because I just know the rules, right? So like one school of thought is you should just know the rules, right? The other school of thought is I should only have to keep track of my rules. And if my opponent is not playing their rules properly, that's their fault. And they are cheating. As opposed to, you know, any of this like game state stuff. And both players must track the game state, etc., etc. Luke was playing double AAT activation spam. The R2-D2 now advancing, keeping the payload in range and pushing closer to secret mission. May not ultimately matter at the end of the game here. I don't want to count Degree out just yet. He still has Clankers left to go. Can still do some damage. He's got offensive push ready. R2 and 3PO are in danger here. And with R2 activating, there are probably some angles that Degree can find where maybe catching them out of cover might not be that much of a possibility, but it's going to be close. Don't worry, Doc. I'll lose just for you. I also think it's kind of hilarious. Like, were people only playing clones because they were horrendously broken? And then, like, the instant they got fixed, everybody stopped? Thinking emoji? Oh man, these dice pulls, they've just been really rough for Degree. 2 surges, 2 hits. Has to spend surges to get anything through the cover. Takes it up to 4. And then Padme Exemplar dodges it away. Man, just taking no damage. Clone dodge castle. It's a thing. Thank you, GM Smithers, for the emoji. Appreciate it. Yeah, clones are still really good. Like, I mean, look at this, right? Like, the entire game, thanks to situational and 3PO Padme, like, these phase 2s have taken exactly 2 wounds. Like, just about everything else that's been thrown at them has been just faded by dodge tokens and cover. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think Zeus Juice has the right of it. I mean, me too, right? Like, I want to play clones, but Rebels got more buffs, so I want to play the buffed stuff. Because I want to see if it's good. Alright, this is a 5's move and shoot into that lone arc sniper, and it is down. So another activation killed. So that's gonna put... That should put, Degree here. 58 plus 150. So 208 points of Degree's army is destroyed at this juncture versus 67 and 58. So that's 115. No, 125. Excuse me. So Timbo ahead by about 75-ish points at this phase. 73 points. I think the bigger problem is that the red payload is, well, it's not blocked because this Saber Tank base is in the air. So technically, you could slide the payload underneath the Saber Tank. And then I think the payload could pass through the Saber unmolested. Okay, I'm back. Just got off the phone. Oh, did fives... Oh, wow. Was that a standby? That must have been a Padme standby. Rough. Right, because they must have finished their move in range too. Oh man. Brutal. Just brutal. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm a little bit low energy today. I did not get a lot of sleep last night, but you know what? I'm happy to be able to stream because I really, really like Legion. I think the game is heading in a good direction with the points changes. And the meta is like super Wild West. Oh, nice shot there for a Degree. Those arcs at range 2 getting the full boat. But man, the dodge sharing is so annoying. pulls 1 from Padme, and then 2 remain on the saves. And full save, wow. So just 1 coming through with lethal there. Yeah, like, imagine if the entire army was just like situational phase 2s. Like, who needs a tank, right? Like, just run Rex, Padme, 3PO. And then phase 2s and arcs all the way down. Phase 2s is situational. And maybe like 1 or 2 with offensive push. Who knows? I'm also playing against a Padme in my game. JJ's running OB Padme. So I've been looking at how to beat that list. It's not an easy list to beat. There's a lot of it's got a lot of strengths between Padme dodge sharing, Obi-Wan Guardian, all kinds of craziness. And like, you can't even shoot Obi-Wan because he can just yank Padme's dodges for Sorisu. Oh my goodness. Okay, so with the tank where it is, Degree is gonna need 2 unit leaders running directly in front of this barricade where the rest of the clone army is holed up. Or the rest of Timbo's clone army is holed up. So you can run in here, O-push, and then Clankers, but it's like blank essentially because he's so close range. And man, Degree's attack dice are really not favoring him today. I'm almost certain he's been rolling below average on these rolls. But yeah, Padme now out of dodges, so a chance to do damage here and a full save from Timbo. Just taking no guff from the clones of Degree. They refuse to be bullied. And then Rex can go. And Rex will try with his gunslinger here to do some wounds. Maybe he can do it. The dodges are basically spent. Rex does have sharpshooter. He does have crit surge. He should be able to get through cover. There's a blank. Finally doing another wound. I feel like it's been a long time since a wound was actually dealt by Degree. And then Gunslinger into the Saber for 1 crit, no pierce. And the Saber cannot pick up that dodge from the Clone Trooper leader. So it's going to take a 4th wound on the Saber tank, and R2 is not close to it. So the Saber Tank may not get repaired. It's got 9 health, or sorry, 9 health total, 5 health remaining. But it's already the start of round 5. The payloads are moving. Red will be able to push their payload. They've got 2 leaders on it. Blue can push it, despite the presence of this ARC Trooper. Blue is going to push it up. Blue should be able to get into contact. And then I think red, in a similar fashion, depending on how far he can get that payload up the board. That's greater than 45, even though it's stable. Okay, now the question is going to become, can the red payload sit on top of that pillar and be stable? I think that is going to be the issue here. And that should be... Oh man, that is going to be so close getting into base. I guess he can do it. Yeah, even from here he can get in base if he gets the full distance both times. He can still score that ending objective. The trouble is, though, now it's like on the side of the tank, and there are 2 unit leaders, 3 unit leaders waiting to contest it, so the red payload might freeze there. Unless there's 4 unit leaders from degree side of the board on top, and I don't think there's going to be. I think the red payload might be stopped on turn 5 here. Aggressive negotiations from Padme Amidala versus we're not programmed from Rex. So Rex with all the surges now. And Padme with the free moves and tokens potentially. So she's going to order some folks to move speed 1, which makes sense to me. She can also authoritative, which would not be a bad call either. She could also just use the move herself to give her a better position for Exemplar. Oh, that's great. Yeah, like that's what I was saying, right? Is he like because the tank's front is in the air, you could slide it under the tank. It is possible. Instead, the payload ended up at a 45 degree right here on top of this ledge. But yeah, Stuck is a bit of an appropriate song, Doc. Well, I hope y'all are having a good weekend so far. It's been pretty good. We're expecting a cold snap down here in Florida pretty soon, so no more swimming pool for a little bit. Yes, the weather is warm enough that you can go in the swimming pool in November here in Florida and not be too cold. It's the benefits of living in a tropical climate. Alright, so Padme gives her orders out. She orders herself and fives, but the fives unit does not get the move from aggressive negotiations because its text says when Padme Amidala issues an order to a unit. And of course 2-pip beats 3-pip, so Timbo is going to start the turn off with a rally, a failed rally from fives, who is going to move around the crater, get himself in a position potentially to shoot arc strikes in the open, and also have the payload captured, or not captured, but able to push the payload from that position. And yeah, from here the arc strikes are in the open to fives, so this could be so long we hardly knew you. It's going to be 7 black dice with a surge. And now would be a great time to pop the specialist. Or no, this one doesn't have the specialist, never mind. I was saying if you had a specialist, it'd be a great time to use it, but not so much. It's a fives and a phase 2. And I'm wrong, it's actually 6, not 7. But plenty of dice no matter what way you slice it. You're going to spend the surge even to make it 4 hits. So let's see if he is able to kill off this arc team. Yes, that is a terrible defense roll. That arc team is full blown out of here. And I think Degree has fought valiantly, but the wheels are coming off the train. Like, it is, to mix metaphors, the wheels are coming off the wagon and the train is being derailed. Okay, in they go. The clones diving to keep their payload underway. They get there. And what will their maneuver be? Will they shoot the Saber Tank in the side arc since they're firmly in the side arc at this point? There have been worse calls. Alright, side arc in the tank, impact 1 being gained on this pool of 6 white and 2 black. And with a surge, that should be 2 into the Saber. Full save. Just getting denied at every turn is Degree. Okay, so Degree, his plan has shifted now that R2-D2 has kind of walked away from the tank. Plan now is to take out the tank, and he's kind of angling all his forces to get that done. Tank would have had 6 wounds had it not rolled a great save. Unfortunately, just 2 hits there, needs to spend to re-roll. Or no, he's shooting an arc strike. Okay, and that's gonna wound it. Not bad. Okay, so just 1 arc strike left on the board for Timbo. But even if he killed that 3rd arc strike, Degree would still be down on points. But you know, if Degree can manage to kill the tank, he will be able to turn the tables here on Timbo, who has basically been pushing him around all game. A tank down here would actually put Degree ahead on points and potentially in control of the game. But here's a good play from Timbo, right? If we move the arcs, if I move my arc to contest, then I'm going to force things to walk to the objective over shooting. And I'm also forcing my opponent to shoot things that are not the tank. Because I can sacrifice this arc squad so long as the tank does not bite it. But thankfully Rex has Gunslinger. Unfortunately Rex does not have a jetpack, so he cannot actually score, or cannot actually push the cart this turn unless he double moves. So he won't be able to shoot. And Blue cannot shoot either. Like, the only thing Blue could really do... I guess Blue could shoot that arc strike, as long as it can see, which it should be able to. The BARCs did trade very poorly. What's up, Ringmaster 80? Yeah, this is Rexstar versus Padme Aayla. If you want to see the lists, you can do red red list and blue list in the chat, and the bot will spit out the list for you. That way you can just see what the exact lists are. But yeah, the archetypes are Rex. It's Rex BARCs versus Padme Aayla. Yeah, no sweat, Ringmaster. My pleasure. Tim's like, basically Tim's lost arc strikes, he's lost some phase 2 models, and he's lost 4 wounds on the tank. Oh, look at this. Okay, so backstabbing the payload here. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so there are 2 activations on it already. So maybe Degree feels, since he has higher act count, if he can backstab the payload, he can actually freeze the payload out. Nice plays from Degree here. Because if he gets 2 and 2 and R2, if he can stop R2-D2 somehow, because this is going to be an open shot on R2. So if he's really lucky, he can prevent R2-D2 from adding on to the payload. So a surefire way to win, if you're down on points, is to freeze your opponent's payload out. Like, that's just the truth. Yeah, he's going for R2-3PO, so he's got 5 wounds to deal. He needs a big swing here. Talking monster. But 5s can do it. And he finds a pretty good swing. Five could do it. There's a chance. And R2 gets a double save though, so R2 is gonna be fine. So he went for the risky play. He almost got rewarded there. R2 will have to move. I don't know if R2 can move and repair himself. But R2-3PO is on 2 wounds now. He's got to move. Oh, he can get there. Okay, so he moves and then repairs himself. He's trying to see if he's in range to shock next time. Yeah, that's really the key to speeder bikes, or speeders of every type, is you have to just, the entire army has to hit together. And if you don't time it right, you are sunk. Okay, oh, look at this. So Rex is gonna try. Although Rex, yeah, Rex can avoid... Yeah, Rex can avoid the inconspicuous penalty because he has a second valid target with Gunslinger. So he's trying to take out R2 and 3PO. I love this play from Degree, not going down without a fight. Unfortunately, 3 dice is not enough to kill R2 and 3PO this turn. Plus, these blue clones are now vulnerable to a Padme move and shoot. This is the trade-off here. Alright, shoots the tank and gets nothing. And now attacks R2-3PO in a light cover, which is then opened by Rex's sharpshooter. Getting a full there. And R2 and 3PO take 3 wounds, so 3PO is dead. And R2 is on 3 wounds now. So R2-D2 is... He might be in danger from Rex. He's not in danger from anybody else because there's other targets and there'll be one suppression on him next turn. Oh, I didn't see the tank hadn't activated yet. Oh man, that's brutal. Okay, so the tank now gets to go. No clone pilot though, so it can't pull these aims from the arc strike, but it hardly needs it. Getting a bunch there into Captain Rex. And Rex is in the open currently. So, I mean, if the tank just headshots Rex, that could very well be the end of the game. Oh, pretty damn close. Okay, putting 3 wounds on Rex. Rex with 2 wounds remaining. Padme could seal the deal right here. If she moves and shoots Rex and gets 2 hits and Rex fails 1 save, Rex is out of it. Yeah, absolutely, Smithers. Red list and blue list. And actually, in the latter chat, I think there's a full rundown of all the lists. In fact, let me link that here in the chat real quick. I think this is the list of all the brackets, this link I just put in chat. Or the list of lists. Yeah, that'd be the one. Yeah, and there it is. Padme headshotting Rex. If he fails 1 save, he's out. Boom! There he goes. Padme with a Rex headshot at the end there. Rip. Oh. And with that, it's concession. Dang. Rex getting headshotted before he can pull out the 1 pip. Good game. Degree concedes. Timbo moves on. What a crazy game that was in general. Really exciting, I felt, even though I was a little bit sleepy in the middle there. It's mostly my fault. Yeah. What are they trying to show here? Oh, that's the BARC pool. Maybe they're talking about the game. Hang on. Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Yeah, I'm so tired. I'm losing it.
Yeah, it's a sleepy Saturday for me too. Yo, so this was kind of a wild game, not gonna lie. The Saber did some serious work, and Padme is a jerk because dodges without maneuver are insane.
Unless this is like this, I think second time you streamed basically this list for me, and starting to like it.
Yeah, yeah. The Saber Tank with Padme, or the BARCs.
The Saber Tank with Padme.
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought the BARCs didn't do so hot, but this is like their worst matchup is in a clone mirror. Like, yeah. BARCs want to be picking up droids, right?
Yeah,
Rebels.
Definitely anyone but clones, pretty much.
Right. Like surging clones, dodging clones, just crazy. And then like, what was I gonna ask? So there was a big sniper war at the start, right? And like I thought Echo going down early there was like that was really clutch. Echo didn't really get to do a whole lot.
Yeah, thankfully, yeah.
100%. Yeah. Echo going down was like, it was just the problem though, with like, I kind of got my sniper stuck in no man's land. I tried to shift them back, and they just kind of got stuck out in the open, and then with BARCs flying around, it just didn't go well for them.
Yeah, because the BARCs are doing a pretty decent job of harrying the arc snipers, but then again, it's like what's the best thing to shoot? It's the arc sniper, right?
I mean, in reality, what I saw is like I traded my 3 BARC speeders for 2 of his strike teams. So I'm like, my BARCs weren't taking out activations like I wanted them to.
Right, and like 3 BARCs is like, what is it, 225?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very not good trade. I liked the Saber, like, it's interesting too, this is unique, like, the Saber starting on a height like that is unique to rollout.
Yeah.
Was rollout in the last slot, or was it?
Second slot.
Second slot? What was the third slot deployment?
Hemmed in.
Hemmed in.
Oh gosh, even more disgusting.
It went pass. I got rid of hostage. He got rid of battle lines.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't want hemmed in on payload as red. Like, that's god awful.
Yeah.
And like, I scoped this map up beforehand, and like this, like the building that I had the Saber on was like literally every deployment I had. Basically, the Saber was going straight there, and just pillboxing from there.
Yeah, it's a really strong piece of terrain on this board. Is this desert house? And like by comparison, right, the high tower, like you would think it would do more work, but the height and the no ladder make it really problematic. Like, it'll probably be fine with like Mandos, but that's like the only unit it'll be fine with. Everybody else is like, well, great, you know, maybe I infiltrate up here and clamber off this, but it's just not great. Yeah, and also like this map, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, just tons of cover everywhere. There's not a whole lot of light cover, and like the places there are, it's like you're in an aisle. And then like this board edge too, right? You have the archway working for you. So there's just so many good things about this board edge, really.
Yeah, you get 2 buildings, one with a ladder facing you, one often. Yeah, it's just, there's a definite better board edge on this map.
Look at the bracket real quick.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Degree, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, for this side of the edge is like really tough because it's like I had to move up here, which is no man's land, and then move up here, snipers and even 5s. We got 2 solid fire lane lanes. I'm like, I can't deal with because I have to move up, and it's really tough. Like this sniper back here did nothing.
Right, and like, damn, that 20-point bid.
Dang, right?
20-point bid is just like nutty to me. And
Well, to me,
sorry,
go.
No.
It's just nutty to me, especially like I usually, like pre-ROG, was playing 800-point clones or 799-point clones, like 9 times out of 10, and then suddenly ROG happens, and like most people are bidding less, and I'm like, yep, 20-point bid.
Yeah, so that's why I stopped. Stuff like that is why I stopped bidding at all. Because it's like, okay, if people are gonna be ridiculous, I'm just not gonna bid and suffer the consequences. It's fine. Because I'll be okay with 20 more points of material. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So you're facing now Babette next, who is running the CIS equivalent list, which is Maul and T series. What do you
Not
think?
Excited.
Yeah, you're not excited. Well, the good news is you both have AP Shell, so that's going to be a crazy duel. But yeah, he has Maul, and you have Padme, which is the big difference.
Yeah, It'll be like I think I have the bid right. Right. I guess it'll be my deck, so it's not like I'm gonna have recover or something crazy like that. But Maul is rather good, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm super curious about how that match will go, and if I get a chance to stream that, I would totally stream it. Because
100%.
I think that's new and exciting, right? To see, not just to see a tank duel and like a legitimate tank duel, because both tanks are like fully loaded, right? To also see just Maul in action and what can be done with it. Maul seems to be kind of hard to control for a lot of folks. I also noticed this is a Saber Throw O push variant for Maul. So it's not a Force Choke Maul, and so that could be also a problem for armor, because Saber Throw into armor from Maul is pretty devastating.
Yeah, although like honestly, if he wants to come into range to like with Maul and my tank, like that's Padme's strength right there. Is like throw the standby. So if I can shoot Maul twice in a turn,
yeah,
I feel pretty good about that.
I was gonna say too, like Padme really shined in like the last 2 turns when things got close together, because it's like, oh, guess what? I have Sharpshooter 2 and Pierce. I'm basically Boba Fett at this point.
Yep.
Like offensively, she's similar to Boba. And
yep.
so you're just doing some work there at the end, and then of course the headshot on Rex to finish the game was just sort of justice.
Well, and I also think like the standby, like sort of like 5s going forward with a standby, like those dodges and standby, right? Like he came into the center, there's a no man's man there. Like that was my plan, and then I got the BARC. Like that was like the most successful. Like that was essentially 1 activation, and I got 2 activations off the board, and that kind of like in my head kind of sealed. Like it was still a game after that, but that really turned the tides. Yeah, having those 2 activations off.
I think also like. I think Degree, your plan here at the end to sort of pivot and try to freeze the blue payload was a wise one. I think that was definitely a smart call. It just didn't quite, like the dice didn't quite work out. Like if R2 had made 1 less save, that would have been a dead R2-D2, but then it would have still been a dead Rex. And so I think with Rex out of the picture before Call Me Captain, for the extra dice on fire support, I think I concluded the same thing you concluded, which was that you just didn't have any damage left.
Not at all. Yeah, at the end there, I was trying to freeze the payloads and just win on points. Because if I took out the other half of the army besides the tank, I feel like I would have a chance, but I didn't. So.
So Iridium asking, how can they both not have commanders in their list? Well, the cool thing about the latest rules reference, Iridium, is that Field Commander got changed, and now if you take a Field Commander in a tank, they can become the commander in your list. They count towards your commander requirement. So if you have a Field Commander tank, you can then run an operative or any other units without having to field any units in the commander slot. So Maul does not need Grievous. He can just take a T-Series battle tank as his commander, so to speak. And the same working here, we have a General Aayla Secura tank for the clones, and then Padme with no need for Rex or Kenobi. Yeah, no problem, man. Happy to answer your question. All right, gents. Thank you, of course, for the game.
Hey, thanks for streaming it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for streaming it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get this on the archive quickly so I don't forget. Twitch only keeps VODs for 14 days, and so I need to like get a pipeline going to my archive. But yeah, thanks.
Nice.
Thanks again. Good game, and we'll see you all soon. I think. All right, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks everybody that came out today to watch. Thank you everybody that subbed today and followed. Big ups. I'll be back probably on Friday, December 4th, maybe earlier than that, depending on what games there are. I think I'm playing tomorrow. That game might get streamed. I'm playing against JJ. But yeah, we'll be back on Yavin Base here. Thanks everybody, and we'll oh yeah, if you want to join the Discord, there's a link down below. There's a Discord link. So hop in there. We have some really great discussions around Legion and Star Wars Squadrons, and it's just a really great group of people hanging out in there. So if you're interested in hooking up there with some folks who are passionate about Legion, you can hop in that Discord, and of course check out the fifthtrooper.com, which is where I kind of come from. Fifthtrooper.com and Notorious Scoundrels podcast. Check them out, and of course fifthtrooper.com/shop. All right, that's all the plugs I'm gonna do. I'll see y'all later. Ciao.